Hello everyone, I'm Rosie Yumnam. Currently, I'm teaching in the Department of ELT, the English and Foreign Languages University, Shillong campus. The theme of the conference which I have opted to speak on is Teaching, Listening, Speaking, Reading and Writing, and the title of my paper is Teaching Speaking Skills and Values through CLIL. I begin with the introduction. My paper examines the purviews of language teaching and learning. It explores the theoretical approaches of the content and language integrated learning, that is CLIL, to teach speaking skills and values. The study focuses on the teaching and learning of English as a second language in Manipur, and it uses the text Chainarol, which is an indigenous literary work of Manipur, chronicling of around 27 personal combats with historical settings explicit with ethical values infused in its narrations. Next is literature review. CLIL is believed to be conducive to maximize the development of students' language learning. It has a dual-focused teaching approach. David Marsh coined the term content and language integrated learning and defined as situations where subjects or parts of subjects are taught through a foreign language or parts of subjects are taught through a second language with dual-focused aims, namely the learning of content and the simultaneous learning of a foreign language. Furthermore, Dalton Puffer asserts that CLIL has its principles drawn from Bruner's constructivism learning theory, which is based on the idea that learning involves an active practice where new ideas, information, perceptions, or concepts are constructed by the learners with their existing knowledge as the basis. Relatedly, Jaferi and Deliu in their research showed the effectiveness of using CLIL in improving speaking skills in the areas of vocabulary and fluency. Then comes to values. Values are an integral element which is entrenched in the behavior and activity of one's life. The main aim of education for values is to prepare a child with the competencies, abilities, skills, and attitudes which will not only help them in schools but also embrace them with a lifelong learning, enabling them to live harmoniously in the community. This has been quoted from Education for Values in Schools, a framework. So education aims not only to cater to the current needs and objectives of a society, but to inculcate its lasting human aspirations and values in the community. The role of education in the development and nurturing of values in an individual is enormous. The culture and the values entrenched in the community becomes an inherent element in shaping the child into a responsible human being. Therefore, the school education in the age group of 8 to 13 years is the conceptualization stage wherein the learner starts opening her or his mental faculties to further develop her or his creative and critical thinking to augment the learning process. And further, their speaking skills need to be enhanced to express their creative mental faculties and ideas. And Chainarol is an indigenous literary work of Manipur, rich in values reminiscent throughout its narrations. It may be used as the content in the CLIL approach to impart values and to teach speaking skills in the upper primary schools of Manipur. In CLIL approach, society and the environment plays a vital role in the teaching and learning process. The learner first used language for social interaction, and therefore the social environment is required for reinforcing their existing knowledge to effectively learn the content and the language. In this sense, if the environment plays a pertinent role in the acquisition of a second language, it is my opinion that second language learning along the regional context can be highly effective. Next is objective. The objective of the study is to integrate the teaching of speaking skills and values through the CLIL approach using Chainarol in the upper primary schools of Manipur. Next is methodology. The study was conducted with the students of class 7 from Don Bosco School, Imphal. The number of student participants who participated in the study is 155. The testing of speaking skills was conducted with the student participants using the pre-test and post-test method. In the pre-test method, the conventional prose and poems prescribed by the Board of Secondary Education Manipur was used. In the post-test method, the extract of Chainarol, adopting the CLIL approach, was used. The assessment of the speaking skills was done based on the student participants' understanding of the knowledge of content, learning vocabulary, and application of the learned vocabulary and content into real-life situations. Based on the content, the activities and exercises are carried out in two parts. The first part tests the student participants' understanding of the knowledge of the content. In the second part, the student participants are tested based on their ability to apply the understanding of the knowledge of the content into real-life situations. And some of the tasks and activities which are used in the post-test are 1. Group discussions based on the topic values in Chainarol. 2. Enacting a one-act play based on the story incorporating values drawn from the extract. 3. Group activity to find out and speak on the various forms of Thangta, which is a Manipuri martial art having its origin in Chainarol. 4. Discussion and speaking on the topic importance of values. And 5. Reading the extract and asking them to critically comment and discuss in the class. Next is implications of values in Chainarol. Chainarol is the literary work of many anonymous writers through different periods of history dating back to the 1st century AD to the second half of the 16th century AD. It was written in the ancient Meitei-Maic script and rendered into modern Manipurian English. The present study is carried out in its English translation. Chainarol is the tradition of Chainaba, which is a personal combat between two warriors who fights under a code of conduct institutionalized in the society. It chronicles around 27 personal combats collected from real-life incidents. In one of the story, the personal combat of the two warriors, Moiremba and Athoba, describes the intrinsic values discernible throughout the narrations. The combats are governed by the sacred code of conduct institutionalized in the society. Athoba won the combat by unfair means. For his unethical and dishonest behavior, he suffered psychologically and succumbed to an incurable disease which ultimately led to his death. The narratives abound in intrinsic human values like devotion to one's duties, peaceful agreements of conflicts, to honor the law and the triumph of honesty and righteousness. Next, coming to findings, results, and discussions. From the findings of the pre-test and post-test, it is observed that there has been a slight rise in the level of learning of speaking skills by the time when the extract of Chainarol was used as text in the class. In the first part, when the student participants' understanding of the knowledge of the content was tested, there has been a slight increase in the level of learning from 50% when the conventional text was used to 56% when the extract of Chainarol was used. And the second part of the testing of the student participants' ability to apply the understanding of the knowledge of the content into real-life situations showed that there has been an increase from 30.5% when the conventional text was used to 48.9% when the extract of Chainarol was used. This entails the student participants increase in the use of their cognitive faculties to apply the understanding of the knowledge of the content in real-life situations. The reason might be because of the use of the material which is familiar to the student participants. This is one of the characteristic features of CLIL where effective learning takes place with their existing knowledge, as has been emphasized by Brunner's constructivism learning theory. And relatedly, the tasks and activities in the post-test enable the student participants to exercise their cognitive skills and provide an environment to revisit their existing knowledge. Then, in the group discussion based on the topic importance of values, the student participants engage in a form of dialogue with their fellow classmates to discuss the various facets of values and their importance in their lives and how it will help build a better world. In the group activity to find out and speak on the various forms of Thangta, which is a Manipuri martial art which has its origin in Chainarol, the student participants interacted with their family and with the people in the neighborhood to delve into the diverse forms of the Manipuri martial art, Thangta, and their values, cultural and societal implications. The information they investigated were then discussed in the class. This task and activities thus provide a platform for the student participants to provide a social environment conducive to inculcate speaking skills, as has been emphasized by Bruner's constructivism learning theory, which has been the basic principle of the CLIL approach. The extract of Chainarol used as content is in the background knowledge of most of the student participants, and so it becomes easier to understand the knowledge of the content and apply in real-life situations. It has been observed that the use of the tasks and activities in the second case, that is, when using the extract of Chainarol, have assisted in improving the speaking skills of the student participants. As the student participants were familiar with the local values and cultural knowledge, they were highly motivated in performing the group activities and the discussions, which augment the integrative learning of content and language. Now to conclude. The findings of the study showed that there is concurrent learning of content and language in both the cases when using the conventional prose and poetry and when using the extract of Chainarol. However, the level of the development of speaking skills in terms of understanding the content as well as its application in real-life situations is found to be relatively higher in using the local content, that is the extract of Chainarol. In CLIL approach, as the environment plays an important role in second language acquisition, the use of indigenous material in the study is found to be effective. Therefore, it can be concluded that the use of CLIL approach assisted in developing speaking skills as well as to understand values. Thank you.